When you flip on a light and the whole room suddenly pops into full color and depth, what is actually changing? In the energy filament theory, what changes is not that objects appear, but that the energy sea around them is driven into a new, organized rhythm that every object in the room starts to answer. In school, we are taught to think of light as little particles flying out of a bulb and bouncing off walls, tables, and skins. So it feels natural to imagine the room filling up with tiny bullets that carry brightness into every corner. In this picture, the starting point is different. The universe is already filled everywhere with an invisible, stretchy energy sea. Every atom in your body and every piece of furniture is made from that same sea, twisted into tight rings and filaments that hold a stable pattern. When the switch closes, the region of the energy sea around the filament or LED is not spitting out marbles into empty space. It is being forced to dance in a clean, rapid pattern, a series of tightening and release steps that repeat on a steady beat. That beat races outward through the energy sea at the speed we call the speed of light. It moves layer by layer, like ripples running across a lake when someone drops in a perfectly timed sequence of pebbles. When that rhythm reaches a solid object, three main things happen, and you can think of them as three ways the object negotiates with the incoming beat. One part of the rhythm is simply swallowed. The tiny rings and filaments that make up the material take some of the patterns into themselves, wiggling more, shuffling their internal moves a bit faster. What we feel from that extra internal bustle is heat. Another part cannot stay inside forever, because those structures also need to protect their overall shape. So after they've taken what motion they can store while staying stable, they push the excess pattern back out into the surrounding sea. Now they do it in their own preferred tempo and directions. That ray-emitted rhythm is what shows up to us as the specific colors and scattered lights of that object. It is the soft glow from a wooden table, the bright patch on a white wall, the warm tone from your skin. A final, smaller part of the incoming rhythm sometimes finds paths that thread straight through the material along its internal texture. That becomes transmitted light. The part that makes thin curtains look translucent or lets a glass of water sparkle instead of acting like a brick. The key point is that after you turn the lights on, the room is not filled with random flashes. It is filled with many overlapping but well-behaved rhythms in the same energy sea. The bulb drives a main melody, a steady stream of beats that does not lose its timing. Every object that the beat touches answers back in its own voice, absorbing some of the motion, reshaping some of it, and sending some of it onward. It sounds abstract. Think of it like a song being mixed in a studio. On its own, the lead vocal track is just one clear line. Add bass, guitars, piano, and drums. What you hear in your headphones is one song, but the producer knows it is really many separate tracks layered at the same time. The light in your room behaves in the same way. The bulb provides the lead track. The walls, floors, furniture, plants, and your body act like different instruments that catch the beat and then reissue it with their own tone and emphasis. In any tiny region of space, the energy sea is carrying the sum of all those tracks as a single local rhythm. That is what your eyes and brain are sampling when you say, "Now the room looks bright and three-dimensional." Your retina is not just counting how many particles arrive. It is reading differences in how that local rhythm changes from point to point and from moment to moment. Those differences are created by how each object in the room has twisted, filtered, and resent the original beat. That is why turning on the light does more than raise a single number called brightness. It reveals edges, shadows, colors, and a sense of depth. Because the ensemble of objects has started playing together and the energy sea between them is now full of structured variations, not a flat wash. In this view, seeing is your nervous system learning to decode the music of the room. A music written in the language of tension and rhythm on the energy sea. The next question is how that same pattern can keep its identity as it travels across enormous distances in space without falling apart. We can still read it after billions of years and billions of light years of relays. Tap follow, share it on New Physics, Clear Universe.